It feels very strange. Oh my gosh, it was actually a crazy time. But yeah, I got this boy's number. I actually can't believe I'm saying this. I was obviously trying to prepare myself for something that never actually came. Meant that I interacted with girls all day, every day. And oh my gosh, you guys, very recently, I really wish you guys were listening to the conversation I had with myself the other day in my head, because I was just thinking this over and I just had a really great conversation with myself, and I wish I was recording it, but I was actually lying in bed thinking about it, so obviously that didn't happen. And yeah, I'm gonna have that conversation out loud this time with you guys because I thought we could have a chat about it. Get comfy, enjoy listening. I hope my thoughts make sense. I don't really know where to start this video, but I think the first thing I want to say is that I am very happy being single. I always have been single. I've never been in a serious relationship despite being 23. But you know, I've never felt any pressure to just follow the crowd and, you know, be in a relationship because everyone else is in a relationship. I've just always lived my best life. And I think it's really important as well, like, no matter how old you are, you should never feel pressured to, you know, just follow societal expectations or follow what your friends are doing, follow a crowd. If you're happy in a relationship, that's fine. If you're happy being single, that's also fine. It doesn't matter how old you are. However, as you guys know, I have been through quite a lot of like physical and emotional or mental changes recently. I have been through like hypothalamic amenorrhea for about over 7 years, which is an extremely long time. And I recently got my period back, which was a huge kind of like milestone for me. And with that, you know, I've experienced a lot of changes in myself, physically but also mentally, and I've addressed quite a few of like the physical changes in videos where I've talked about all of this stuff. But the one thing I haven't spoken about is like, you know, my emotional changes. When you have hypothalamic amenorrhea, your estrogen levels in particular are incredibly low, and along with progesterone and testosterone, oh my gosh, this would be such a good By Holly G video, but essentially your sex hormones are responsible for, you know, sexual desire, or what we call libido. And so yeah, with amenorrhea, in my case, I had blood tests and my estrogen has literally been so incredibly low for a very long time, and obviously it has increased again to a normal level. And as I said, with that comes a lot of physical and mental changes, and one of the latter obviously includes feelings of attraction towards a particular sex or sexual desire, you know. I have recently kind of started to feel this effect, and obviously having not had a period for like over 7 years, it feels very strange. Like, I haven't really voiced this out loud. I've had a few conversations with friends, but it's just all quite new, and I'm like, whoa, okay. For a long time, the reason why, yes, I probably haven't been interested in relationships is because of this, you know, because biologically, I have had very, very low, near to non-existent levels of estrogen. I have also been incredibly busy. Studying has been like a top priority for me for a big part of my life, and so I've just never thought about this, and I've never been interested in like relationships and relationshipsy stuff. But I definitely think the big drive in this is my hormonal system kicking back in, and I have known this for a long time, don't get me wrong, but because I haven't opened up about periods on my channel for a long time, just because I didn't feel comfortable to do so, I haven't addressed this. I just kind of want to throw it back now and talk a bit about the last time I felt similar to the way I feel kind of like now, because that was a very, very, very long time ago. Like, when I first got my period, I was about 11 or 12 or something. Like, the peak of Holly being involved with the opposite sex, because yes, I am attracted to guys, but when I was kind of like interested and actually invested in that was when I was in Billy Elliot the musical. So in 2009 going into 2010, so for a year, I was in the musical. I was one of the ballet girls, and obviously in Billy Elliot, if you didn't know, you have like ballet girls and you have Billies and Michaels. There are boys and girls, right? And when I was in the show, I basically got my period around that time. So, you know, I was basically going through puberty at that point. That time was when, I don't know, I just really wanted to talk to boys, and I had feelings for kind of boys at that point. There was so much girly relationshipsy, juicy gossip that would spread around. People would be like dating and boyfriend and girlfriend, and oh my gosh, it was actually a crazy time. Let me emphasize, and I've spoken about this in other videos where I talk about social life and friendships, I've never been a popular person. Like, I've never been part of a popular group. I just remember talking though to one of the Michaels in the show. Michael is a character, by the way, so I'm saying one of the Michaels because a few different people would play the same part. But yeah, I got this boy's number and I just remember I was like so incredibly excited, and I had this like Nokia phone. I was on a pay-as-you-go SIM card. I remember asking mum to like top up my credit so I could send more messages, you know. Oh my gosh, Holly. And it was just like a whole new world for me, and I was like, wow, like I'm talking to a boy. It was just like the first time, as I said, I'd actually interacted with boys. I feel like this was the time when I asked mum one day, like really quite randomly probably, how you kiss? I actually can't believe I'm saying this on camera. I was obviously trying to prepare myself for something that never actually came, right? But I remember asking mum, and I feel like she told me to practice on my pillow, and I vividly remember going to bed one day trying to kiss my pillow. We're not going to say anymore, but a lot went on during that time. I mean, I was still the ballet girl that would, you know, do my homework. I'd be getting stuff done in the dressing room, as well as trying to be in with all the gossip. But as I said, I was never like the popular girl, like I was never in the popular group. However, I did, you know, have a little bit of experience with boys at that time. And then after I kind of came out the show, so that was when I just started secondary school. So in the UK, that's year 7. I was in year 7 when I was in Billy Elliot. I at that point had a regular period. I didn't struggle with period loss. I went to an all-girls academic school, which, you know, meant that I interacted with girls all day, every day. I, again, didn't really speak to many boys. However, there was a boys' school that was literally opposite. And I'm going to say in year 8, so my second year of secondary school. Sorry, I feel like I have an eyelash in my eye. Okay, maybe the eyelash is gone. Anyway, I tried to still speak to boys, obviously. And let's just say I did not have a great experience. Again, I was never part of like the popular group, and most of the popular girls at my school would talk to the guys, right? The popular girls would talk to the popular boys. However, I did, you know, add some of the boys on Facebook that I thought I knew, even though I'd probably just seen them once on a bus journey. Facebook was a big thing back then. At that point in my life, I have no idea what I must have been saying. Like, I dread to think, right? If Facebook archives chats, I hope they have destroyed them, burnt them, obliterated them, okay? I never want to see those chats in my life again. But I remember talking to like a guy or 2 guys or something, okay? And one of them, I specifically remember, blocked me or unfriended me, whatever you want to say. To put it plain and simply, I must have been so annoying on Messenger that they decided they didn't want me as a friend anymore, at least on Facebook. But you know, if you weren't a Facebook friend, you weren't really a friend in person. So that story just perfectly summarizes my experiences with boys. And then for the majority or the rest of my time at secondary school, I did not talk to guys at all, or boys. I went to school, I also went to dance, which was again with predominantly females, so girls. There are a few boys in some of my classes at dance, but I had no interest from that point onwards in boys, in relationships. I became more invested in my studies and dance. I was training a lot, and then obviously my mental health started to deteriorate. I struggled with food, with body image. I just spiraled basically, and that is when I lost my period. I don't actually remember the last period I had. It's so bad because it's such a long time ago, but I must have lost it around that time. And then I went to Cambridge. Again, I was still very busy, invested in my studies, still didn't have a period, so I still did not have any interest in boys, in guys, in relationships. So bringing it back to what I said at the start, I have obviously, you know, reset my body. My body has found balance, which is amazing for me. And yeah, I'm kind of like at this point now where I'm like most open to relationships. Again, I am not like looking for a relationship. I'm not like, oh my gosh, I really want to be in a relationship, okay? I also want to talk about my fears with relationships still. But you know, I started to come to terms with this when I was traveling in Australia. We had to bring up Australia, okay? You saw it coming. But you know, I did that Q&A, that travel Q&A, And that was around the time when I started to have this realization where I was like, having a boyfriend or being in a relationship is not a bad thing. Before that, I kind of like shut it down and I was like, no, Holly, you're never ever going to be in a relationship. For the majority of my life, Emily, like my dude, has been my rock. I always thought we'd grow up and we'd live together, you know, that is what I thought. But then obviously Emily has lived her own life and I am so happy for her. You know, she's in a relationship right now. We live different lives, right? And so I can't always rely on my sister as my, you know, my main companion. So I started to basically come to terms with relationships and that kind of stuff, as it were. I still didn't have a period when I was traveling, but those emotions were kind of slowly coming back. You know, I was realizing that I am attracted to the opposite sex. I do have a type, and oh my gosh, you guys, very recently, like I've never had a chat with mum, you know, like the birds and the bees chat. I've never had any of those conversations with mum. However, the other day we were in the car, you know, casually driving somewhere, I don't know. Mum asked me like, what is my type? And I was like, sorry, what? Are you speaking like English right now? Because we've never had like that kind of conversation before, just because I've never shown interest in that. And I'm not saying I've put on like displays of me showing these emotions. Like I'm very much still quite reserved about it. I do have a type. I've said this before, I swear. I still have an eyelash in my eye. Maybe I did. I got it out. I need to make a wish. Right. If we're talking like physical characteristics, I would say I am attracted to a guy that is a lot taller than me, someone who is quite like muscular, vegan. That's not a physical attribute, is it, Holly? Tall, dark and handsome is what mum said, and I was like, yeah, I suppose so. Personality wise, someone who is on my level of strangeness and weirdness. As you guys know from my videos, I am quite a strange character once you get to know me, but yeah, someone who's funny, obviously nice, right? But I just want someone who embraces weirdness, okay? But basically, moral of the story, mum asked me this question, and yes, I do have a type. So like recently, okay, what I'm trying to say in this video is that I now look at guys in a certain way and I can be like, oh, they're attractive. Like before, I didn't pay any attention to that at all. You know, I've never had any crushes. I've never had celebrity crushes, probably for the reasons I've explained before. I'm not going around like looking. And I'm not trying to say that I've suddenly had all of these crazy feelings of desire, okay? But I have felt differently. I personally learn so much from like listening to podcasts. I listen to a lot of podcasts that talk about like relationships or girl stuff, listening to these more taboo topics, and I'm really grateful for the people that share very personal experiences, but just to help others, it's just so useful to help those like me who are like 23, who feel as if they've been through puberty a second time, who feel as if they are a tiny fish in a big ocean, they don't know what to do. Like, I don't just listen to those podcasts, okay? I listen to quite a big variety, but those ones in particular, it's just really useful, I find anyway. So that is how I kind of feel now. But, okay, and there is a big but to this. On the flip side, I am still so scared about everything that comes with a relationship. One thing, for example, I'm so scared of like intimacy, not only like physical intimacy, which I know is so important, but intimacy in a sense of, you know, sharing so much about yourself with that person. I at the moment only share this stuff with like my family, you know. I can't imagine having someone that knows like everything about me, because I just think of the worst. I'm still of the mindset where, you know, like I don't share passwords with anyone, because like at school I learned to not share passwords. So yeah, I'm not saying you share passwords, but you might do, I don't know, in a relationship. What I'm saying is, I'm just like someone who bottles things up. I don't share things very easily, and if I do, then I put a lot of trust in that person. And over the past year, I did go through something that has meant that I am kind of like a bit traumatized in this sense with trusting people, and I feel like sometimes I do trust people when I shouldn't do. It's a long story that I'm not going to go into. Another thing that I've spoken about before is like, I never feel like someone would, I struggle saying this, love me. I just really struggle with that, because I'm always like, they must surely love someone else. Like, why me? This is still a really hard one for me, and I have mentioned this in another video. I can't ever imagine someone just loving me. Like, why are you loving me? There are so many other people you can choose from. Go and pick someone else. Like, I just can't imagine that. I never think I will be good enough for anyone, and it kind of relates to what I said near the start of this video. Like, I've never been a popular person. I've always felt as if I'm invisible, and I just walk around wearing an invisible coat like in Harry Potter. I just feel like nobody wants to talk to me, nobody is interested in me, nobody wants to be my friend, let alone like my boyfriend. And that's one of the primary reasons why I shy away from it, because I'm like, I know that getting into a relationship opens yourself up to, you know, a potential breakup and to all of these other things that go along with a relationship, and I know that's all part of life and you learn from that, but I'm just so scared for this reason. And another thing kind of related to that is that these days, you know, a lot of dating is done online, and I just can't imagine opening up to someone online, you know, talking to someone who I've never met in person. And I'm not saying I'm the best in social situations in person, but I would much prefer to get to know someone in the flesh instead of through text messages or whatever you do on dating apps. But yeah, as you can tell, there's a lot that I worry about, and obviously I'm just trying to find my rhythm and my routine, you know, having finished my masters. It's not whether I have time. Like, I would make time. I don't know, if someone came along, whatever, I would make time, right? I would try my best. But I am a creature of habit. I love my habits, my routines, the things I do every day. But as I said, it's all about growing up, and I want to stay open-minded and positive. I don't really know what I've rambled on about today. I hope that has made some sense, and I hope it's kind of given you a bit of an insight into how, you know, I've changed emotionally. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for listening to me. And yeah, comment down below if you want to share your thoughts or if you have any similar experiences. This is a very safe space. You guys are so positive and amazing. So yeah, thank you as always. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Comment down below, as I said, and subscribe if you want to stick around. Another thing to address is that, you know, yes, I do share a lot of my life online. Opening myself up to a relationship that I put online or keeping it private is a whole other thing in itself, but I just wanted to have this chat, and I'm very glad I got it off my chest. And yeah, as always, I will speak to you very soon in another video. Bye.